Hey everyone, Sam Davidson here with MEA Worldwide, and I am at the world premiere of Netflix's newest holiday movie, Let It Snow, here at the Grove in Los Angeles. It's going to be an amazing night, it's an amazing cast, and it's going to be one of your favorite holiday movies of the season. You're not going to want to miss it, so stay tuned. So what was your first reaction when you saw the film? Like, what was the story that really stuck out to you that you were so proud of?
John, Maureen, and I all kept looking at each other and saying, this is great. We're not making this up. This is you're always terrified that it's going to be cringy and you might have to separate. We're like, nope, this is even better than the book. It's amazing. So we're thrilled.
So you wrote with John and with the other writers, with the three of you wrote this together.
Right. So 3 interconnected novellas, and they all interlap and overconnect, and the characters all talk.
I've actually watched the movie twice. I watched it again today.
Cool.
What really inspired you as far as taking all these separate stories? Of course, besides the novel, but what specifically was your inspiration?
The inspiration, obviously, most of it came from the source material, the novel, which was written by Maureen, Lauren, and John. Aside from that, there were like some other inspirations, a couple of Richard Curtis movies, movies like Notting Hill and Love Actually, but then also, a bunch of Christmas movies. It's a Wonderful Life was a big one for me, Planes, Trains and Automobiles. There's a lot of different Empire Records, Dazed and Confused. There's a lot of essentially it's like a mix of classic teen movies, classic holiday movies, and then somewhere in the middle of those things, basically. Yeah.
It seemed like each separate story was inspired by something different. Like they had a different theme, right?
Yeah. I mean, each individual story definitely has a sort of tone and a sort of feel to it. For me, the Sunset trilogy, which is the Richard Linklater trilogy, inspired the Julian Stewart story. There's a lot of them walking and getting to know each other in the snow, and then stories like Tobin and the Duke. Their story just feels like a very classic kind of teen story. He's in love with his best friend and the girl who lives next door to him, and I think that's just a classic staple, really. So they definitely all have their own identity, and they're inspired by lots of different things.
I love every time I see you on screen because you play something weird and different and shake things up, right?
Thank you. That's so nice. I do like to play different characters, so I appreciate that. Every time I try to do something, different than the last, so I appreciate that.
Tell me a little bit about the character that you play in this movie and also how it's different than what you've done before.
I often play very nice, pleasant people, and this gal is not very nice or pleasant. She's on a mission. She's a little bit cold, icy, and she has, I want to say a word that starts with B, but I don't know if I should.
You
so
can
I'm not
tell me anything.
No. She's on a mission to do her job as best as she can, and it doesn't matter whose heart she breaks in the meantime.
Tell me a little bit about how teenagers can have this preconceived notion about someone and it changes so quickly, and how that relates to your character.
It starts with the parents, I think. Parents, you build them up in your head to be these perfect beings, and you feel as soon as you get older, you owe them so much. And that's exactly how I feel in real life with my mom, is she's done so much for me. She seems like this perfect being, and at some point, it's between the parent and the child to agree that you have to go your own ways in order to become your own people. Because parents do become a different person when they have children. I don't know, I could go on for hours, but honestly, it resonated with me a lot too. That's why I wanted to be this character. So I'm really glad. I really hope people feel it and see it and realize this isn't just a corny movie. It's something that speaks on our times. It speaks on this modern day without feeling forced.
So this has been quite the year for you, especially now topping it off with Let It Snow. You've had some super interesting projects. What made you want to take this one on?
Luke, our director, when I met with him, he just seemed interested, and I wanted to make a Christmas movie in general. I added to my, body of work. I really want to have an iconic Christmas movie, like a love story Christmas movie, and I feel like this is a good step in that direction. I feel like this movie could become iconic depending on the response on it and all of that. I think we definitely have the right cast to make it iconic, and Yeah, I was just happy to be involved. I'm just happy to be involved.
Don't tell anyone that I've interviewed so far, but your storyline was my favorite. I swear to God.
Why was that?
Because of the way that the relationship moved forward and the different dynamics of it, of you being a star, of of her having her mother that has cancer. So, what would you say by the end of the film is something that your character learned that they didn't know at the beginning of the movie?
That he didn't know at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah, about himself, about relationships.
I think he just learned about, Isabela's character. I think he just met this girl who's like just the complete opposite of him. He's out in the world wanting to be alone, or, just finding someone to spend time, worth spending time with on Christmas. And, for him meeting this girl who just is stuck in this town, who has a chance of getting out and being bigger, wants to stay there, and he's trying to figure out why. And then the reason why is kind of heartfelt, it's heavy, so it was interesting. It was an interesting thing. But me personally, what I take from the movie is that it's really, not everybody has somewhere to go on Christmas, wealthy or not, you know what I'm saying, and happy or not, young or old. Not everybody has somewhere to be or someone to spend time with on Christmas. So, hopefully those people at home that can relate to that can look at this movie and, have some comfort.
Okay.
The gangster, Swag Daddy in the building. You already know. Oh yeah.
We gotta do interviews, bro. Goddamn.
Sorry. All right.
All right. So, my first question is answered. Did you guys make as good of friends off screen as it seemed like everyone partied on screen?
I feel like this definitely was a good representation of it. So, yeah.
So, in a way, your character brings everyone together because of his desperate need for a birthday party. I've been there.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always a good party that brings everyone together. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, representation in this film is extremely important as far as all the different characters. Why do you think today, 2019, almost 2020, that this is so important and it resonates with so many people?
I just think really the normalcy of it all is what we're trying to push. I think that ultimately it's just real life what we're emulating, and so there's no real reason for it to be some sort of like divisive thing. I think that we're just trying to show what's happening in real life, and that's just diversity all over the place, whether it be with love or with any sort of thing. So yeah.
I really wanted to see what happened to your character after the birthday party. If he found a girl, like what do you think could have happened?
Keon was just about killing it and having a good time and being successful, just being a good DJ. That's all he cared about. Yeah.
Well, of course, I have to ask a little bit about Spider-Man because we have some questions. Is there a possibility that you might be a new villain-ish in the next film?
That's something that I've been saying all the time, but I mean, it's really up to the creative team. I think that ultimately what we want as actors, don't even come close to the great ideas that the creative team comes up with. So.
Stay there all night. Tell me a little bit about your character and how it really resonates with young girls out there who have a best friend, but also a really hot guy that likes them.
Totally. I play the Duke, and she has always been best friends with this guy named Tobin, and a new sort of romantic interest named JP, played by the lovely Matt, comes into her life, and that kind of forces her to confront a lot of things about her feelings for her best friend. And it's kind of a beautiful journey about love and appreciation within a friendship, but also people that are kind of scared to take that next step and the fear of ruining something. And it's kind of a tale as old as time in a lot of ways, in all our lives, I think. And I think it'll really resonate with a lot of people.
Tonight is a night about just not only chemistry on camera with Let It Snow cast, but off camera. I made so many beautiful friends that I know will last for a lifetime, and that's something that it tops everything.
So your character in the film is one of those guys. Like if there was a guy in high school that, nerdy, trying to work his way up, he would hate you, and that's what happens. So tell me a little bit about you humanizing this and making him so likable, which you always are.
Okay, so I related to this character so well because growing up, there was always that thing like, oh, it was so easy for him, like, oh, he's good looking, you just given to him. But really, I worked really hard for a lot of things that I have. And a lot of people don't see that. They, see the surface. They don't know me personally. And I think that's like a thing that gets construed in the media. But with this role particularly, I was so excited because my co-star Mitchell, he's like incredible. He's one of the funniest people I've ever met, like on camera and off camera. So when we had that demo like graphic of just like, okay, he's struggling through a lot. He's doing this coming of age thing where he's dealing with bullies, he's dealing with his first love, and he really wants to put his best foot forward, but there's this like hunk of a guy, but he's in the way, but really he wasn't in the way whatsoever. He's just best friends with the Duke, you know? And when it came together on screen, it just worked so perfectly because Mitchell was every guy's dream of telling that girl that he grew up with that he loved her. And he did it in the most perfect way. And I was just there to support him. And then you guys will have to see in the movie. But I think that some magic happens and it just ultimately turns out to be the best situation that you could possibly think of.
Tell me a little bit about your history with the book. Did you read it, and how did they change the storyline of your character?
There's some differences from the book. I am about to really badly tell on myself because I didn't read it before we started shooting, and I always said I was never going to be the kind of actor that did that, and then I fully did. Like, I was terrible. But I think what it was for me was that I knew there was some differences from the book, so I wanted to dive into the script without worrying about whether I was doing a good job. But the book is like just as fun as the movie, even with the differences that are between the two.
So your character, in a way, has two different love stories. She had, or actually maybe three. I think she has one, or you have one with yourself, and you have one with your best friend, and of course one with a girl that you know. Coming out in high school is probably an extremely difficult thing. How do you think that this movie tackled it as far as the relationship we see between you and this girl on screen?
Part of what I liked about it is that the movie approaches the issue of coming out in high school with complete lack of judgment about anyone's particular choice. You know, coming out in high school is really hard. And some people aren't able to come out in high school in the same way that others are. So Dory is like out and proud, and it's totally good, and it's a non-issue, which is lovely to see in a film like this. And then also with Anna's character, there's more complexity there, but that is treated like with the same amount of empathy and respect as anyone else's journey, which is nice.
We have had an awesome night here at the Let It Snow premiere at the Grove in Los Angeles. We hope that you all have enjoyed these interviews. If you'd like to see more like them, please download our app for free, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or just go to our website. We'll see you next time.